Nice! Woohoo! Alright, welcome to another episode in the deep playthrough of Gran Turismo 7. This really took me like, I think, 750 attempts. And again, like all those weird gold medals that I get, like first places, this was absolutely not one run that I thought, alright, this is going to be it. I was already with my mind in the next attempt, so to say. I was just, okay, I will just drive the long straight and finish it. But yeah, I have to check the replay, but there were some sections in here that I really did not think I took that well, and also the time, it's not perfect. I read about a guy who was on Reddit with a controller doing a 631, so that's like 6 seconds faster than me on my wheel. But to be honest, I've now spent so much time in it. I've basically been at it for 2 full days. Screw it, gold is gold. I'm happy with it. I will quickly show you, where are we? A replay. I'm also gonna save this replay because this really took a lot of effort. Alright, I will show you a little bit what I think the way is to go. Over here, as soon as you see the orange at the right barrier, cross your dashboard, so approximately here. Start really braking hard, no steering input whatsoever, it will only unsettle the car. Keep it straight ahead, back to second, until you really have the idea like, okay, I'm now really standing still. But you really need to do it because the car, it drives a bit like a boat. It's very fast in a straight line, acceleration. But steering, yeah, it feels a bit, it's heavy, you can easily go wide. Or it feels heavy, I don't even know how much this car weighs. Anyhow, you back to second, really much slower than you would feel is normal. By the way, it's also nice to read these sections, these Yokohama plates. I'm gonna do that now as well while I go through the lap. But this is the Sabine Schmitz curve. So the Sabine Schmitz corner. She's, I think, a German race car driver, female. Anyways, very slow. And then only once you are approximately here, because you're in second gear, you don't want to have a lot of steering angle before opening up the throttle. So first steer, straighten up your steering wheel and then power out of here. Like so. This is all full throttle, and then yeah, you just, I will show you that tip as well. I found. No, we can just like so. The car has very good downforce in high speed corners, so very slow here, and now on the gas. Anyways, this is all full throttle. And once you see the skid marks in front, the dark patch, once you see that, that is where you start steering. Full throttle. By the way, what section is that? That's also a section. Is that possible to, without going back again, we just do like so. We do like so. And, oh shit. I can see it from here, Hudson-Bach. Alright, so this is Hudson-Bach. Anyways, full throttle through here. Make use of the curb over here to the left of the track, and it's a start steering in near that dark patch. So also the steering in is earlier than you would expect. Full throttle, and then over here I start to brake. Back to third, bop, 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 and here you let it roll with your right tires on the curve, because somehow on the curb, I have the feeling that these curbs, they are like sticky glue. They really can, if they can work against you, you can spin out, because if you're at a certain angle and hitting the curb, but it can also benefit you. Rolling through this corner, keeping your right tires near or at the curb. I have the feeling that you somehow are glued stronger towards the corner. You can carry more speed, you take it sharper than when you are regularly on the tarmac. So that is my tip for here. Stay on the curb, roll through, and then over here, and again, don't apply full throttle with too much steering angle. Even in third you can spin out. So first straighten out your steering wheel a bit, like approximately where I am now with the steering wheel on screen is, I think, the max you can steer while really aggressively opening up the throttle in third. Any sharper than this, so towards like a 90-degree angle, you will spin out for sure. Here, full throttle. Here a slight lift, because otherwise you go wide. You already carry quite some speed here. And over here, brake back to thirds. You can really abuse this curb. Roll a bit, and over here slightly tap the brake to get some balance to the front of the car so that you have more steering grip. And again, try to ride this curb. It really feels a bit like sticky glue. And then let it roll out, and again, don't apply too much throttle with too much steering angle. First straighten up the car and your steering angle, and then power out of here in third. And over here, approximately over here, brake hard, keep it in third. You can ride the corner, and this is a corner you have to really get your car 90 degrees turned as soon as possible. And then once you do that, over here approximately, then you can straighten up your steering wheel, power out of here, but really watch out not to ride the curb to the left, because again it's like a magnet, it's like sticky glue. Once you do that while powering out, you will spin out. Your left front wheel against the curb somehow, I don't know, slows down, but this curb really made me spin out a lot of times. So avoid the curb, go wide over that curb, and then for the rest, because maybe the incline and the camber a bit, you do have quite some traction on this piece of tarmac, so you can really just power out through here. And you want to be where this curb starts to the right. You want to have the speed that you can already shift to fourth, sorry. And then over here, this shadow, this really light piece of shadow over there, that's where I want to be at fifth if I'm on a relatively good attempt. So a little bit before that right sign, what's that, 45 feet. For that sign to the right at the fence. And then over here also, just as a gauge from how good you're going, you see the change in the guardrails. It goes from concrete to metallic or aluminium, whatever it is. Once you hit this, you want to be you pass that. At this point, you want to be able to turn to shift up to sixth gear. And over here again, that's testament to the downforce on this car. You only slightly lift once you turn in. Over here, slightly lift, but again, you're being helped by the magnetism of these curbs. At least that's how. Maybe it's a placebo effect, but I have that feeling. But steer in. Keep steering in, but over here you're already full on the throttle. So this is all aerodynamic downforce keeping you glued to the road. All full throttle. And then over here you want to hit 280. And over here I used to lift off, but this one you can actually also abuse the curbs. You even drive a bit over the grass and take it full throttle. You at one point when you hit the top of the hill, your car becomes very light and floaty, but then soon after the downforce hits in again, and then you are back on the tarmac. There's one thing that I quickly want to do. And that is, where were we? I want to check those signs. I like to know all these signs. Where the hell are we now? This is the start of the lap. Right. So this was Hudson-Bach. Keeping my eyes open for more signs. Don't really see them. There's one. Hoog-eigen. Alright. I wonder whether each corner has a name or whether it is just random sections of the track that are names. There's one. Let's change the camera. Can I change the camera? Yes. Quiedelbacher Hohe. I think it says Quiedelbacher, but actually, 1 second. It is really hard to read. Sorry, but I just have been here for so long. I just like now also to really get the full Nurburgring experience. Yes, Quiedelbacher Hohe. Alright, let's go. So this is all full throttle. Like so. Oh. Oh shit, there's another one. No, we need this button. Flugplatz. Alright, so this is Flugplatz. Did I miss any other signs in between? Sometimes they are quite close to each other. Hoog-eigen, we already had that one. This was het Quiedelbacher Hohe. Flugplatz, which is just power through here with aerodynamic downforce. And as mentioned, even over here, just start steering in here, Swedenkreuz, and just keep to the left and the car will settle. And as soon as so you actually want to, you don't stay on the road, once the corner starts here, you can actually steer your left wheels a little bit on the grass to create some buffer, because you will be thrown a little bit outwards once you lose grip, but then as soon as the aerodynamics kick back again, you get grip again, and then you're just on the track. But it's good for a buffer. You can really abuse this curve a little bit. So here I'm halfway on the grass, and now your car is very light because it just got catapulted over that hill, and then suddenly the grip returns, and then you really are going quite quickly, 280. And you want to start braking very hard once this left curb ends, and actually maybe half a meter before the curb ends. So approximately over here. Very hard braking. Oh, by the way, did I now miss another sign? So here you start braking very hard, back to thirds, let the car roll a little bit, 20-30% throttle, and very weird also, a lot of grip in this corner. You can accelerate really already over here. When normally with this much steering input you would spin out. I don't know, maybe it's the camber of the corner, but you can very much earlier than you think go full throttle here. So already over here I'm probably full throttling. You will be thrown then from the centrifugal force or whatever it is, you will be thrown wide a bit, but you can actually really abuse this curb. So it doesn't really matter, and the benefit of earlier full throttle outweighs the risk of going wide here, because I hardly ever got a disqualification here unless I really screwed up. But you can see I'm almost with the full car off the track, but it's fine. That's a very lenient disqualification rules for that corner. So here we go. By the way, sorry, but I'm only gonna do this once. But, did I miss any signs, sections? Here you also hear where I already went full throttle. That was really. Let's watch that one more time. Really quite quickly. Brake, 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 brake. Here I go full throttle. Oh, this is all full throttle downhill. It's quite curvy. This is Fuchsroe, this is foxhole in English, I think. Fuchsroe. Rere is probably hole in German. This is quite a little bit curvy, but basically it's just a straight downhill. You can almost keep the car fully in the middle and just power down that hill. Here, just hug this one to the left, that one to the right, this one to the left, but the car stays in the middle. And then over here, this is also one of the tips that I found took me quite a while to figure out, but this left corner that's coming up, I also braked a bit and shifted down, etc. All not necessary. What you do, even while you're going 271, with all the downforce, approximately over here, just a little bit, yeah, maybe at that sign to the right, whatever it says. What the hell does that say? Stuurtsgevaar. Yeah, I'm not sure what Stuurts is, but maybe, yeah, let's quickly make that a learning moment. Man, this is really turned into a learning episode, like with all the names of the Nurburgring and also a little bit German. So we do German, English, and then we do Stuurts. Yeah, Stuurts is fall, so it's danger to fall, so for bikes, etc. And then also do Rere, Fuchsrere, I think that is hole, tube, yeah, foxhole, tube, so let's do Fuchsrere, fox pipes, but it's more or less a foxhole. Anywho, once you hit a little bit the before the end of the curb to the right, you just lift off momentarily, or no, actually you keep your foot off the accelerator, but no braking yet, just only lift through this right left hand corner. So here, bam, you can also abuse this curb a bit and you're really going very quickly, but you win speed and time here by not braking. So just lift through here, and as soon as you are back on the tarmac, start braking very hard, back to third. Brake, 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 brake. And then Adenauer Forst, that is Forest, I think. You're braking, you are lifting a little bit through here, but immediately you get some speed back because this is like a mini straight, so full on the throttle here. And then over here, full braking, and then back 2 seconds. You're going very slow, but this is a very tight S-bend. And then in the middle of these left-hander and right-hander, you can apply a little bit of throttle to keep the pace. And again, yeah, I'm just riding the curb here, but you can also just stay on the tarmac. But again, try to have your left front wheel contact the curb because, yeah, to me it feels a bit magnetic. It allows you to stay on course a bit better compared to when you're wide just on the tarmac. But yeah, I'm totally screwing up this corner pretty much, but yeah, still enough for gold somehow. Yeah, straighten up the car, and once you're over here, you can ride this curve to the left a little bit, power out here. Full throttle. And then over here, this one, lift off the gas. You can lift off maybe half gas, and normally I do full lift off. And ride the curve to the left. And then after you saw like this little, it's approximately now near the front wheels. You saw some graffiti on the tarmac. That's where approximately now you start to brake back to third. And then 30% throttle approximately ride this corner, and then full throttle. But once you there's like this little kink to the right. If you keep full throttle, very big chance that you go wide. So briefly, like a quarter second lift off to get some more grip on the front tires and get a little bit to the right, and then you can go through again. And there we have our next sign. Column Hard, I think is what it says, but let's check that. Kallenhart, yes. Fair gate voor ihre Sicherheit. Alright, I have no idea what that means. Fair. Gate 4 has priority, but fair, yeah, maybe fair play, like sportsmanship is has precedent, how do you call it? Priority or whatever. Maybe that's some saying in German. I don't know. Right. So yeah, for the rest, power out through after that very brief lift off. And then over here. Oh shit! I need to do the right camera. Approximately over here, a little bit earlier, like 5 meters earlier, you start to brake. And you go to third, and then ride this coast through this right curb, and especially this, it's like 2 corners consecutive. It's 190 degree and then another 90 degree. This second one where we are now at the start of, it's a little bit more tight. So really increase your steering a little bit in this second one, so that your car is as soon as possible straighten out to again power out. You really focus in this car is get your car directed as soon as possible in the exit direction, and then power out. So over here, full on the gas. Full on the gas over here. A very brief lift off again. Here, talk, and then again over here already full on the gas. And then over here, once you hit this curb, I really did this one on feel. I never really got comfortable with this corner, but these are basically 3 corners after each other in very tight succession. It's not almost like a whole circle, but yeah, there are 3, I think, also pieces of curbing to the right. You are in 5th here. What you do here is just stay in 5th, you're going downhill, so you keep some speed, and you don't need to be, even if you're in a little bit high gear, doesn't really matter because gravity helps you. You will soon enough get your RPMs back. But once you see this curb, briefly brake, and then coast through the first two of these right-handers, and the third one you can already apply full power. But so here, coast. Oh, what the hell am I doing? Like so. Coast, 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 and here start applying full power. Oh, by the way, did we miss a sign? I think it could very well be that we missed a sign. Colin Hart, we already had that one. Right, no signs, but so that were those three right-handers. The last one you go already before the curb on the power. First two you coast through them, hugging the inside. Full throttle. And approximately here, yeah, my sign, oh, by the way, there's the next one. Where's Siphon? What the holy hell is Siphon? One moment. I'm just curious. I will go into, it's, by the way, it's New Year's Eve. It's a little bit pathetic that I'm gaming, but yeah, I have like a chill out New Year's Eve. And I'm going into the new year curious. Defensive soaps. Right. Seife is soap. Wehr, Bundeswehr, that is like a defense. It's probably not what it means, but yeah, it is what Google Translate says it means. Anywho, my breaking point over here. Show you. It also depends a bit how much speed you carry, of course. But approximately this white spot in the shades on the tarmac, that's where I start brake hard to fourth. And then you don't want to steer and brake. Your grip can only do, you only have so much grip. So if you brake and steer, some of your grip is into the deceleration, and that means you'll have less momentum or grip to change direction. It's a trade-off. If you brake and steer at the same time, they both fight for the grip, so to say. So what you want to do is brake here, you want to separate the two. Brake here hard to fourth, then briefly let go of the brake. Turn this corner. Like so, and then over here, once you're straightened out, start braking hard back to second, really slow, and then yeah, in a snail pace, cut this really weird double 90-degree corner. So in motion, that looks like this. Brake at the shades, brake, off the brake, steer in, on the brake, very slow, back 2 seconds, and there we go. What the hell was that word, by the way? What the hell? Weersiphon or something. I forgot. Yeah, Weersiphon. Alright, really weird term. Anyways, now we go accelerating again. But once you get to third here, this is also a 90-degree corner or something. You have to lift off a bit, because otherwise really big chance that you spin out here. Also because of the incline changed a bit. Yeah, the car becomes a little bit light once you go downhill here for the first time. So you very briefly do like 50% throttle instead of 100% until the car is a little bit straightened out. Once you, if you go so wide as to hit that light concrete to the side of the track, then you can for sure do full throttle. There's a lot of grip that that provides somehow, just like curbings, I think. Anyways, then you just race out of here, throttle out, and then over here, once the curb to the right starts, you start to brake very hard, back to third, really brake quite a lot, and over here again, try to hug the curbs, because yeah, it are a little bit sticky curbs. You coast through here, coast, and then slowly, not all at once, because also I think because of the braking and the momentum and the incline and the camber, you can easily spin out if you're on the gas too early over here. So gradually increase the throttle once you are straightened out. Ausfahrt bright side. Alright, bright side. That's also a section called on the Nurburgring. Anyways, over here, once the curb to the left stops, you momentarily tap the brakes and then coast through this right-hander, stay close to the right-hand curb, and again, be careful with too much power all of a sudden in third, because you can spin out here. You really need to have the car first planted a bit, like the steering wheel as straight as possible, and then apply full throttle. Over here, all full throttle. And over here, it's a bergwerk. I don't really know my exact braking point. I guess it's the a little patch where we are on top of now of light within the shade of the trees. I will show. There, that little patch of light. So a little bit before that Yokohama Bergwerk sign to the right of the guardrail. So this patch, this is where you start to brake, back to thirds. And this corner, I still don't know whether I'm taking it well. You coast through here, it's a little bit messy, there's like a dip in it. And normally I hug this right hand curb, and then once you are past that little dip, if you're accelerating before that dip, you will spin out because of the suspension truffle that the dip causes. But once just after you pass it, you can accelerate out. But I was a bit curious, maybe I'm just taking this corner totally wrong, because there's also this curb to the left, and I wonder where that curb is for. Maybe you can really take it much wider and maybe at a higher speed. I try to play around in the sector test of this part, but the problem with the sector test, I really find it retarded, is that the physics of the BMW, they are, I don't know, maybe from a previous update or something, or the car's setup is different. The car for sure is different. You hit in the exact same spots, same car, but you hit totally different gearings. The grip level feels different. So I was trying to play around with this corner, like, okay, can I take it on a different manner? But yeah, it was. I stopped because I really started learning that separate sector car setup, which is not the same car setup as you use at the full lab tech. So yeah, I never really got through the really figured it out, this corner. And also you don't want to, because you're really quite far in the lab, so you don't really want to randomly start testing things out, because you have, if you screw it up, you have to start all over. So yeah, for me the goal time, it was possible with just staying on the right side. So yeah, it's a little bit annoying that I still not really feel that I know this corner well after 700 attempts. But yeah, I know I actually do go wide a bit here, but it's just what makes me wonder is why that curve is there in the first place. It's such a long curve, so I'm really like, what happens if I'm going all to the inside? Yeah, I do think this is the only way, by the way, because that curve also starts much later, but I'm just curious whether, no, I do think I take the corner quite okay. Yeah, maybe I'm overthinking it. That curve just, I was like, okay, can I really maybe make up 1 or 2 seconds in that corner if I take it totally differently? Because it's an important corner, because there's basically a very long full throttle section after it. So any speed that you have extra from this corner, you carry over a very long part of the track. By the way, let's see if we missed any signs. Yes, I do think there was a sign over there. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, here it is. Ex-Mühle. Alright, what the hell does Ex-Mühle mean in German or in English? Ex-Mühle. Ex-mill. Alright. Really weird translations. There we go. Full throttle, full throttle, full throttle, full throttle. Get the light patch in the shadow, brake. Back to thirds, hug the inside until you get through that weird kink. That's over here. Here you can also not immediately full throttle in third, then you will spin out with this much steering input, but gradually apply through full throttle. You basically, sometimes when I took it earlier, you see the yellow on the tarmac. There is where you want to be shifting to fourth. Sometimes I really had like 30 feet earlier already, so this is not my best attempt in any case, but yeah, you do want to be in fourth once you pass this yellow marker on the tarmac. And then it's basically a very long full throttle section. Just a couple of very faint left-handers. Or actually quite a lot. Let's, curious. Let's count them. I think it are 5 or 6. Gates whether you're going okay. Kesselgen, there's like this sign to the left you want to be, and that's also for me an indication that I did not take that previous corner that well. You want to be, once you pass that sign, so approximately here, you want to be at 254, 255 kilometers an hour, and I'm at 253. Not that it matters that much, because that's the nice thing, of course, of such a long track. You can make a little mistake. You can make it up in a lot of other sections where you otherwise would have maybe not have been optimal. But yeah, so that's the real challenge of this circuit experience is have that one run for 6.5 minutes where you take all the corners okay. Because a lot of these corners if I take them very well, I'm very, I think, quite quick through it, but the problem is doing them all in one attempt. Often and that's just inconsistency, at least for me, but you always screw up 1 or 2 corners in such a long, there are so many corners in 21 kilometers, but yeah, so there were times that I thought like, oh shit, I didn't do it right, I start over, but at the end, after so many attempts, I was like, you know what, you never know, I will just power on through and we will just see what the time is. And the good thing also, of course, of doing that as well, is you get more track time of the ending part of the track. Because what often happens, you spin out at the first couple of corners or in the middle. The ratio between how often you see the start of the track versus the end of the track is like, I think, maybe 1 to 10 or at least 1 to 5. In my case, probably 1 to 10, because you often start over much earlier than you hit the latter part of the track, because you spin out or things that did not go super optimal. So it's always good, even if you don't have that super optimal attempt, to ride it out, because you also, the corners at the end of the track are just as important as the corners at the start of the track, and you really see them much less, because often you fail before you even get there. But yeah, so this is not the best speed I was carrying here, but I must say, even if you have like a great exit from that last corner, etc., you hardly ever exceed 255 at this sign. I never really saw, and that's probably, I think it's uphill or something, because the car can go 280, but yeah, 255 is really the highest approximate what I've seen here. Oh shit, oh, that was my mistake. Let's then go back a bit. Alright, so these are the left-handers. And 255 past the Kesselgen sign. Flustertal. It's really weird how close these signs are. Like the Kesselgen sign, it's like, I don't know, 300 feet earlier, the other earlier. And now we already have to have the next one, Kloostertaal. That's like, what the hell is it? Cloister in English. Like where monks live. 1 second. Klooster. Monastery Taal. So this is Monastery Valley. Here we go. Full throttle. Full throttle. And this is a scary corner. And you just have to get a knack for it. I don't even have an exact reference point like on the tarmac or on the guardrails where I start lift off, because again, you don't brake here, you only lift off momentarily, but it's basically once I see the curbing come into view, then briefly lift off, steer in, and then yeah, it feels very counter-intuitive and unnatural, but you can already over here immediately get on the power. You want to keep that speed for the aerodynamic downforce, and the car will feel a bit light because of the lifting off. But as soon as you get back on the power, it will settle down again and create grip. And you can go a little bit wide here, even in the grass. Somehow, I don't know, you still normally would spin out in the grass very easily, but for this patch of grass, you can actually really ride it a bit. Even if you're, yeah, I'm now going 236. I didn't, and also this corner, I didn't do it very well. Normally I could take it with 237 and I would be 240 over here. I'm now at 233. And then over here, same, very brief liftoff. I do actually think you can take this corner, maybe even full throttle, but very brief liftoff I usually do, and then on the power again. And over here, once the curbing starts, brake hard, back to third. Staalstrakke is the sign to the left. And then very low throttle, ride it. And then as soon as you're approximately over here, you start to gradually increase the throttle, and from this point onwards approximately you do full throttle. And you can ride this curb to the left a bit, and then it's just powering out. And then once there's like these little curves to the right, or the curbing, they are a little bit flowing to the left and to the right, like a little bit narrow, a little bit wide, blah blah blah. As soon as on the right curbing, as soon as you hit that narrow patch in the distance, over here, this is where I start to brake, back to thirds. I do think there was a sign outside. Or am I crazy? Yes, there's one over here. Caracciolo carousel. Yeah, so this is the carousel. I really hate it. I had a hard time being consistent in the sector test with getting gold. Sometimes I did get gold, but it really was luck of the draw. And the problem is, either you go too quick and then you spin out, or you go too slow and then even you drop off into the grass if you're really going slow and you have too much steering input. Yeah, so it's really hard to balance the ride speed. I think approximately 100 kilometers an hour is the speed to go. I hate this carousel. In my view, it feels, it's also too narrow patch that is like skewed, so to say. That has like this incline. It should have been the whole tarmac. It's really, you very easily have two wheels outside of it, and then it's a very weird thing between centrifugal forces pushing you outwards and a little bit of the grip of that incline. So yeah, I don't like it at all. It feels way too slippery. It feels, I wouldn't say walking on ice, but I really hate it. And the problem is, if you take it a little bit safe, compared to the goal time of this sector test, it's really like you can lose a second over here because of this stupid carousel. And I never really mastered it. So I just had to be quick in other sections to compensate. But yeah. Here we go. You see, I'm even going 80. I'm going way too slow. You can go harder through here, I'm sure. So as soon as you can get out of it, don't apply the accelerator once you have like your steering angle like it is now. First straighten the steering wheel, and then even when you're not full on the straight tarmac, but still with your rear left wheel in that little carousel incline, but as long as your steering wheel is straight, you can just power out through it already. That was the carousel. I don't think we missed a sign, right? AMG driving performance. Right, full throttle. Full throttle. And then as soon, I keep it in fifth gear. Sometimes, depending on how fast you are outside the carousel, you can already go to sixth. I had that a couple of times, but yeah, to be honest, fifth is fine for me. I keep it in fifth, even if I'm high in the revs. Because once this curbing starts over here, you quickly tap the brakes and you get to fourth. You want to scrub some speed off for this left-hander. And then over here, what is the sign? What does it say? Höhe 8, high 8. Alright, so you were in fourth, so fifth, get the brake, fourth, steer in, and then over here you coast through this corner, or at least 50% throttle, not full throttle, because then you can go wide over here. And over here, before the curbing ends, approximately over here, start braking and go to the right. By the way, was there another sign here. Sometimes they're so close together. Nope. Alright, so back to third over here, and then coast through it a bit, like 50% throttle, and then over here start applying full throttle again. Right the curb a bit. What does it say? Het wiegsheel. Auf Betriebsmittelverlust achten. Pay attention to maintenance. Betriebsmittel. Alright, what the hell does that mean? One moment, I think. Betriebsmittel. Resources. It is, I think, company assets or something. Anyways, like service cars. I assume the tow trucks and stuff that clean up crashed cars, etc. Anyways, over here you were in third and now you are powering out. By the way, what was the name of that sign? No, I forgot. God damn it. There's one. Hele 8. Over here, third, power out. Hedwigsheuvel. So you have Hele 8 and Hedwigsheuvel. Hill, or top of the hill. Peak. Alright, full throttle through here. And over here you go from 5th to 4th. And then approximately lift off, right this curb a bit, and over here, once you see the grey area on the curb, you can already start accelerating. And same, you can ride this curb over here and accelerate in 5th. Yeah, somehow you really have quite a lot of grip here. You can really go much quicker than you would expect over here. Over here start braking, back to 4th, a little bit of coasting, and then over here you can also really ride the grey area, maybe you can see it better like so, those cobblestones to the left of the track, you can ride them, and in 4th really over here already full throttle, get some speed in, and over here, by the way there was a sign to the right, god damn it, Eschbach, over here brake, brake and coast, and then approximately over here you can also really weird a lot of grip you have here. Normally when you have a lot of steering input in 3rd and you do full throttle you can spin out, but here you can very easily do full throttle. Downhill, and then as soon as the curb starts on the right, or actually no, as soon as the curb ends on the left. By the way, there was another sign. Was that the sign that I already saw? So this is Hedwigsheuvel. Full throttle, brake, 4th accelerates, 5th accelerates, brake, 4th, coast, full throttle. Yeah, there's one over here. Is that the one? Eschbach indeed. So coast through here, full throttle. And as soon as, where do I, maybe once the grey patch, the cobblestones to the left end, or at least, basically also where the curb to the right starts, that's where you brake, and a little bit in 3rd, and then coast through HUD, the right side curb. And you can go a little bit wide here, and there, full throttle, Brunchen, this is the YouTube corner. Then over here, once the curb to the left ends, you brake a bit, and you steer in, and you coast the right side curb, and then very cautious getting on the power. If you get too soon on the power here, you will spin out. So very gradually get the car to settle in the right direction, straight ahead, and then apply full power. You can already do half power, 60%, 70%, but not in one time. Don't put the pedal to the metal, so to say. Don't open up the throttle instantly. And over here, approximately over here, again, brake from 4th to 3rd. Very, to be honest, all these 3 corners, they are very similar. This one, brake, 3rd, right it, full throttle, brake, back to 3rd, right it, full throttle, brake, back to 3rd, right it. So it is right, and then left, but all very similar tight corners. You take them in 3rd, you right the curb, and then as soon as possible you open up the throttle. And over here as well, you want to open up the throttle as soon as possible. That's really hard to do if you want to stay on the tarmac. So you can already you can ride this curb on the right side, and you can even apply full throttle as long as your steering is straight. It's not like you spin out because one wheel is on the curb and the other is on the tarmac. So yeah, that allows you to earlier step on the accelerator, ride this curb a bit, because yeah, it's quite a tight left-hander. So 3rd, 4th, 3rd, ride it, coast, open it up gradually, 4th, brake, 3rd, ride it, and over here ride the curb, because otherwise you cannot open up the throttle already over here. So just ride the curb, and then full throttle through here. By the way, did we miss a sign? I didn't really see any. That was a weird camera angle, by the way. Alright, this is all full throttle, and as soon as you hit this little dip, you are airborne for a sec. You are in 6th gear, because everything before it is, it's very windy section, but you can just, here over here on the power, full throttle. It's very windy, but it's basically a straight section. It's all full throttle, but once you hit this dip, you get airborne a bit. Once you hit the ground, quickly tap the brakes and get back to 4th, and then coast into the right-hander over there. Coast into it, and then over here start applying full throttle. You'll have really quite a lot of grip for that. And over here, a left-hander, full throttle. Maybe, depending on how fast you are going, you need to lift off like half a second to avoid getting into the barrier to the right, but you can ride the cobblestones to the right of the track also a little bit. But as soon as you hit the grass, you spin out over here. I know from experience. Yeah. So, and then basically it's again a full throttle section. So this is all full throttle. And then over here, bam! Tip the brakes back to 4th, on the power. 5th, depending on how fast you go, you lift, but I don't think I lifted here. Full power. Here, 6th. And one thing to note here, don't stay clear of this curb, because it will launch you up in the air. So really stay on the tarmac here. It's a tricky curb, but it's all full throttle here. By the way, oh shit! What the hell am I doing now? No, I'm such an idiot, man. No. Where are we? Alright, I wanted to double check for signs in that letter section. This was Brunschen sign. Because this is quite a long area without signs. There was one. Flansgarten is this. So this is all full speed, and then that little tricky dip that's coming up, where you want to get back to fourth, coast and on the power. Basically, by the way, was there another sign? Sorry, we're almost done, but I really like it. It really allows me to get to know the Nurburgring pretty well. Also with all these signs and stuff. No, there was no sign here. All full throttle. All full throttle. And as soon as you see the curb to the right appear in the distance, this is where you start to brake. And one gear down, you still have quite some mechanical and aerodynamic grip or downforce. So yeah, just coast a little bit through this corner, but keep your speed up. And then over here, once you pass this little dude to the left, you brake hard to thirds. You want to really take this corner as tight as possible, because then it allows you to straighten up your steering wheel as soon as possible and power out over here. You can ride the curb to the right. It is basically quite a tight left-hander. It's really a tight little kink. But once you're through it, it's just pretty much a little mini straight. So get through that kink and open up your car over here. And then over here, by the way, did I miss a sign? Well, I saw something in the corner of my eye. No. Alright, over here, as soon as the curb to the left start, brake hard, back to third gear. I'm not sure what I was in. In fifth or in fourth? So this is 6, 5, 4, 3. And then open it up. Fourth, yeah, so I was in fourth. So, and then back to third. And then hug the curb over here. Don't really bother, don't really even think of this like a carousel. Just think of it as a pretty tight corner, but really stay close to the curb. Don't go wide here. Coast through it, and as soon as you see the straight ahead of you, open up your steering wheel and apply full throttle. You really want to get out of this another annoying. I really hate those carousel type corners, those semi banks, embankments, or however you call it. But really, back to third, do the kick and the little kink, and as soon as you see this, straighten up your steering wheel. That's the key thing. You don't want to have open the throttle while you're in such a carousel. It already unsettles the car a bit, because you're not like on solid equal footing with all your 4 tires. As soon as you open up the throttle in this situation while you still have your steering wheel angled, you have a really big chance that you spin out. So you can already accelerate power out full throttle, even if you're like in this weird the cornered or still on this incline in that little ramp of the carousel. But the key thing is, make sure that your steering wheel is straight ahead, or almost straight ahead. But as soon as you do that, apply full throttle and get the hell out of these annoying carousels. By the way, didn't that have a name, that carousel? I didn't see any sign here. No. Right, power out of here. And then you see the graffiti on the tarmac over here, and then you see the curb on the right side in the distance. If you approximately from the gravity to that curb, approximately after 25% of that distance, so 1/4 of the distance from the gravity to the curb to the right in the distance, that's where I start to lift off and steer in. No braking, you just lift through that corner. At least I do that. So over here start to steer in and lift off. And this is Galgenkopf. It's like the, what's it in English? Where they put the tool you use to hang people. Man, somehow my English is not the best today. Gallows. So this is gallows head, Galgenkopf. Anyways, you lift through this corner. Lift, and then as soon as you are through that first part of the corner, you can apply the throttle, and then full throttle, and then over here you want to, I still also, this is a very important corner because this is the last corner before the long straight, so you want to really accelerate out of this one as soon as possible because it just gives you higher top speed and or at least you are earlier at the top speed on the straight hereafter. So this is an important corner, but I never really felt comfortable like that. I really mastered it. But anyways, you after the first corner to the right with the curbings, you coast through there. Then it's momentarily full throttle, and then approximately over here, it's also for me, I still don't know that corner. I don't know if it are two corners together or whether it's like 180-degree circle. So here, goes through this first one, then a little bit on the throttle. There are two corners. So this is a little mini straight. And then over here you start to, where the curb is, you start to lift a little bit, 50% approximately. But already, sometimes I think you don't even need to lift. But I don't know, I just don't master this corner, so I'm not the best person to give advice for it. This was the Galgenkopf, right, full throttle and then lift off a bit and then over here full throttle. And you really want to go full throttle as soon as possible because this is the long straight. And here you can start enjoying the view and relax because this is a really long straight. Enjoy the scenery. I used to do because I really the pedal hurt my the heel the sole of my feet a bit because it's quite a sharp edge it has. So on this part I actually switch feet on the throttle pedal. I let my right foot chillax off the throttle, and I take it over with my left foot for this long straight. Miss a sign? Don't think so. Check out that dude in the middle of nowhere. Behind the guardrail. Another dude. And another dude. There are quite a lot of dudes standing behind this guardrail. Alright, very cool. To the right you see the restaurant and the car park, and where you actually the ticket office where you actually enter the Nurburgring if you just go on one of those, I think it's called tourist drives, where you can just buy a ticket and you can take your car on the Nurburgring with no speed limits, but the normal public road rules do apply, I think, weirdly. So I'm not really sure how that it's like it's not really a racetrack like it's private property. It is a public road, I think, strictly speaking, but you have to just Google that. But I do think yeah, that you, for instance, if you're slower, you need to stay to the right. There are certain just common traffic rules that apply on the Nurburgring. It's like a hybrid between a track and a public road. But that's, I think, only on that toeristenvaarten events that are a couple of hours each week. Right, let's see. There's like the map of the circuit. Angaben Onegewaar. Right, let's quickly check what that means. Angaben Onegewaar. Angaben Onegewaar. I think it's like information provided without guarantee. Okay, it's just a disclaimer. Alright, so straight on, full throttle. Here we go. Bilstein suspensions brands banner on the bridge. And this is all. Oh, there's a sign. Heue en rain. Yeah, I really find that such a weird German word. I doubt it's actually a word. Maybe it's a name. En rain. Yeah, it's there's no translation. It's heue en rain. Maybe it's a typo. Wait, I will just Google heue en rain. Heue en rain. Heugenrain. Heugenrain is a municipality in the district of Hoogstdorp in the canton of Lucerne in Switzerland. I think there's. I saw it like two words because there were a lot of signs that had the word like Friedrichsheue or Hedwig Heue or Heue, like top peak of a hill. So I took it to also be Heue and then and rain, but it's actually Heugenrain. It's just the name of a village. So let's do it. But I wonder whether rain is a word in Germany. Hochrain. Yeah, I don't think rain is a German word. So it's really a name. Yeah, there's no translation for rain. Anywho, still going full throttle. And for me, you see to the right side of the, you see a fence and then you see a couple of branches sticking out. Approximately over here, this is where I start to brake. From 6th all the way back to 2nd. And yeah, I don't know how the times compare with the overall full lap attack compared to the sector test. The sector times were pretty tight, were really hard, took a lot of attempts. But I found that if you want to get the sector time gold over here, it really helps to not get all your speed out of here, but keep a little bit. It's better to brake a little bit earlier so that you can still play around with some leftover speed that you may have, and then maybe tweak the brake pedal or how do you say it? Play around with it a little bit to get the exact amount of speed you want through this corner, because getting gold in this sector test, I think one of the key things is being able to carry speed through this first right-hander. You coast through it a little bit, but you want to coast through it with as much speed as possible. And then I didn't take it this time very well, I think. But yeah, it was good enough for gold, so I don't really care anymore. Here, once you're clear of that corner, you apply throttle. And then over here, coast a bit and apply full throttle again. And then over here, approximately, yeah, where is that? That's not at the blue sign. Holy shit, we go all the way back over here. I was not expecting that. Oh, there was a sign over there. But we already, that was the hole in range sign. Alright, brake, coast here, take some speed here, full throttle, coast, full throttle, and then over here I would say, you see that right patch on the guardrail, or that red patch on the right guardrail, and in between that traffic sign over there, in the middle of the two, that's where you start to brake, and then you steer in already a little bit earlier than you, at least than I would expect you can steer in. You really want to take it as tight as possible, and then coast, lift off a bit, and then really watch out. More than once I spinned out over here, and also I think one attempt that was for sure, or not for sure, but very likely a goal time, like my objective, and then I span out like on this little straight because I applied too much throttle all at once. So be gradual with your throttle if you're in a low gear, like second gear, because yeah, it's really annoying to basically drive in a wall once you're on a little the last straight before the finish line after a 6.5 minute lap. Yeah, so but once you're straightened out, you can just power out over over the finish line. And by the way, the fact that when I hit that wall, when what I think was a very fast lap for my doing, that really was like, I don't know, 100 attempts or so ago. So if I would not have hit that wall on the straight, it's too retarded to even mention, but then I would probably have had 3 hours, 2 hours less trying to get this gold, because I'm not, no, actually I remember I went back to the replay to see if it was a gold time, and it was not. The moment I spun out was when the clock was 6:37, so I would have been, it would have probably been a 6:40 or 6:39 time. So actually there was not that much loss there, but still it's annoying if you get that far, and especially if you spin out on not in a corner or like some kind of super fast 270 kilometers an hour corner, spinning out at a moment like that. That is, too bad, but yeah, it can happen. But spinning out on a straight, that really feels so stupid. There's no reason to spin out, but yeah, there's just, it's tricky because you get from that last right-hand corner, there's still some momentum in the car from that corner, and you don't want to, while the car is still settling down, apply full throttle in seconds, because that will guarantee be a spin out. So be careful a bit over there. First settle the car and then gradually apply the throttle over the finish line. Alright, so now I will do for myself also, it's also for me to learn a bit like, okay, where did it go? Okay, where can I improve? So I will do one more lap cockpit view without commentary, just a full cockpit view, also for me to check out what I now apparently did better than all the 750 earlier attempts. And after that I will also do, because that's for me a standard part of Gran Turismo, do one replay with the outside camera, just the regular replay, because that's for me really quintessential Gran Turismo. First you do your race, and especially if there's a hard challenge like in GT4, the coffee breaks, etc., and then you finally get a gold, then it's so nice to just chill out and watch the beautiful graphics, because this game, it's still, the replays are I think unmatched in any not by any other racing game. They're really on a level of their own, so then it's really nice to after the all the efforts and the sense of accomplishments to then look at the replay. So I will be doing that afterwards. So it's actually quite a long episode. Really, normally I try to keep them around 25-30 minutes because otherwise YouTube can be inconsistent with the HDR processing as the file sizes get bigger. But I do have a lot of static images in this episode with like stopping, pausing the gameplay. So, and I do think that takes up way less data than moving images. So hopefully the file size, even despite the episodes being quite long, this episode being quite long, I hope the file size still remains a bit manageable. And if not, yeah, then too bad. I really want to do now these two replays. So let's do that right about now. Here we go. I didn't take that corner that well at all. This one neither. There really is more time to be gained. But to be honest, I want to just make progress. Sorry, I know I'm an idiot, but this is the only time I will do it. But I saw another sign and I wonder whether I already saw that one. Anyways, I know here, this one, we already saw it, right? Quiedelbacher, yeah, we saw that one. Alright, so, sorry, I will not do that again. But I also want to just make some progress in the game. There's, fuck, I'm such an idiot, but I'm just curious. Vloekplatz, yeah, we already saw that one as well. Oh. No, to be honest, this is stupid that I paused it. I want to let it run for just without pausing. So, oh, wrong button. Let's start over and I will not pause it. I said I would let it run without commentary and in one go. But anyways, there's more time on the table, but I've spending so much time and I want to make some progress in the game itself. So yeah, I'm not gonna try and improve my time now. But these corners, I really took them way better in other attempts. Especially this one. Totally screwed up this one. Not totally, but it was not optimal. Also screwed up that corner majorly. Normally I was already much earlier on the gas. So I really wonder what I did better than all the other attempts. Besides finishing. A lot of attempts I didn't even finish. Because I crashed out. Here, screwed up that corner. Almost. I think I took this last corner better. I kept more speed through that right-hander after the fast section. Very nice. Really happy with that. And now for the Gran Turismo camera, or the polyphony digital camera angles. So cool. Man. Gran Turismo on the Nurburgring. I remember my time back in the day, GT4, that was really when I did it for the last time, or maybe GT5. It's pretty damn amazing. Pretty epic sounds. Sound have so much improved. So happy with that. Pretty epic. Big V8, I assume. Also really nice that the tire squealing and squeaking sounds has been much reduced, because that in previous Gran Turismos that was such a comical overemphasized in the sound design on tire squeal. It almost really holy shit, you really do get airborne there. But it really trumped any other sounds almost, like the tire squeal. It's so stupid. maybe I am going to try and improve my time, because it really was not the best lap whatsoever. But I think the reason why I made it is because there's like this corner at the just before the second carousel, after that very fast section, the first right-hander. I think I braked much later than other times there, and that's where I gained time that I previously did not have, because I just went back to fourth there. Now I stayed in fifth. So I wonder if I could do the rest of the lap better, including with this faster corner that I did in this round, what my time then could be. Because I really saw, especially at the start of the attempt, I saw quite some. It wasn't really, I don't think, my best attempt. So I'm already really happy with it that I got it. But yeah, maybe I will give it a couple of more tries and see if I can improve it. If so, that will be in the next episode, but probably not. Probably I will just continue and try and make some progress through the game. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed finally one of the biggest challenges of the game behind us. I understand that Le Mans is also crazy difficult, and there was another one maybe. Saint Croix is maybe a little bit difficult, but it's mostly, I think, Le Mans which will be tricky. But yeah, the Nurburgring is game, set and match, done that, been there, so I'm really happy with that. It was quite enjoyable. It really was not even that frustrating, even if I think I will count it, but I would not surprise me if I did more than 750. I know for sure 500, but since that I counted, that was like 5-6 hours ago, I'm sure I did another 200, 300 attempts, so I think it will be 750 plus attempts. And I do have a lot of muscle age, because I have like this Logitech G Pro wheel with 11 Newton meters, so it really is quite a workout, but it was not super frustrating. Yes, there were frustrations, but in the previous episode I was super frustrated, I think, with the sectors times. But now when I did a full lap, and there also, really was not a recording on. The recording was on, but I didn't really do. I really was focused only on the game, not on commentary or anything. And if I look back at it, took a long time for me. I'm a little bit slow learner apparently, but it was, and that is a little bit annoying. I would have loved to have done it in half the time, but it was actually quite enjoyable. It's really it's a visceral car, also with the camera shake that I've enabled. Without the HUD, it's really like quite an experience. So I can suggest it to anybody who wants to give it a try. Just take out a cool car and race on a Nurburgring. Super cool. In Gran Turismo even, not even in real life. Guys, hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you in the next one. For the meantime, do not forget to always keep on gaming. Later.